If the three witches, as Dulas calls them, the witches are conspiring, witches conference, bale three, bansa the calendar, the timeline, the messages, the screenshots, he knows it's overs for him, overs could overs. So, of course not. Of course not. Dulas is not on board with you guys all getting together. Because he's not going to be told by women what to do. Mamhlonga laughed. I laughed with her because Dulas auto changer for you, baby girl. Okay. But let's not forget, people are out here making a television show. Unfortunately, Pindi. That's why it's also Samantha. She'll put you on game. Get paid for your pain. Don't be crying here, Kadidugu, looking rough on TV for nothing. Get your coins, my lovey. Were you or were you not Mamhlongo, the person who physically assaulted Madlamini on national TV? And I think more than once. Were you or were you not the new Mamngane who was coming? Shazad her on TV. Please, I know you're going through a lot, Mamhlonga, but to say you are the wife who has suffered the most, girl, I think you still need some perspective. But also, it's lights, camera, action. Samantha, for me, out of all of these women, is very clear that this platform is not going to go to waste while a camera is rolling in front of her face. She's going to make the best of it. And listen, girl, hustle if you go hustle. If you're on the platform, your pain, we are seeing they must pay you for your pain. So we're going to see. There's something inside of me that's just like, I need more from a reality show. I want more meat. I want more depth. Yes, it's great as an escape, but I can't be traumatized. You know what I mean? Like every Wednesday night when I'm watching stuff, that's not it. I'm trying to run away from my own trauma. Then kikena modi show, yeah. Guningi, it's a lot. But so, find some Ghetto Rich TV on Mzansi. Fight fire with fire. And Tabisile says, I will do unto others as others do unto me. Amen. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rakhadi's Views, where I, Rakhadi, give you my views on reality. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, where I'll be giving you a review. Yeah, Mnakwethu Happily Ever After, episode 10. And let me close 2024 out with one more for the people so I can be on track. Also because I really want to watch the next episode that's just about to come out because fire! Wait till we thought we were seeing flames this whole season 3 and there were many flames, guys. We saw so many. It's Moses in the burning bush. The flames starting really on this show. But this next episode that's coming up, my gosh. So, Karawetsu King, let me clear out my backlog. Let me clean it all out. Shevela with fresh eyes. Fresh. And then judge them, Kiliwan. And then I'll come here and give you guys the sanitized version. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Welcome, Rakhadiwa Amukela. If you are a returning member or watcher, welcome back, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, so that we can at least use the mess that we are seeing on television to learn. And let's learn together so that we can, have healthier relationships with ourselves, but also with others. And the most important thing, guys, notification bell. I really click. I don't know where it is on the screen. Click it. Because Rakhadi is not always on time, but I'm here when you need me. Okay, so we are doing one last one, 2024. And also, Happy New Year for those who celebrate the New Year on the 1st of January. I am not one of those people. So the New Year for me, because I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, I celebrate it in September, in the springtime. But for those of you who follow the Gregorian calendar and are with it for the 1st of January, Epi, please be safe and take care of yourself, your friends, and your family. And just put some good energy out here, guys, in the atmosphere because we really need it. And energy does not lie. So whatever form you put that energy out in, whether it's manifestation, it's meditation, or prayer, whatever works for you, Please, those vibes, good vibes, let's vibrate it. Let's vibrate it and get, the frequency that's out there in the atmosphere to touch everybody's lives so that we can just have, 2025 not showing us so many flames like the ones stuck on Mnakwethu. All right, let's just get into it. Episode 10. So we start off this episode with also, guys, okay, the weather is it's overcast. Outside it's dark. So I had to switch on my lights. But the way ho chisang ka teng, oh my lord. So if I am just sweating it up, because yeah, Rakhadi is not about that makeup life. So if I'm sweating it up, guys, please just be strong. Okay, I just still wanted to look like semi-cute for the internet. So I was like, let me switch on the lights. But like if it gets for real, I'm gonna try and manage it. But right now I feel like I'm giving you like a, humid island spray vibe. But maybe I'm glistening there like a donut. Anyway, we're going to keep it real and we're going to keep it strong and let's push through. Episode 10. So we start off there. Mamhlongo's calling Utabsile, arranging a get together for the two of them, which I smell a producer in the background producing Mutsako, because I think Mamhlongo would perhaps not have taken this type of initiative for herself, as she tells us she doesn't care anymore about what Dulas is doing, even though I don't fully believe that, but I do believe that she's just so emotionally overwhelmed that I think she's just disconnected and numbed from a lot of what's going on. Anyway, fine. The motives behind this phone call, not important. She calls Tamsile Arartakane. Tamsile comes to visit her, and the immature girl that she is, the first thing that she says when she sits down is, sorry, I heard. And then Mamhlong was like, you heard about what? Tamsile is like, no, Dulas told me about your situation. Mamhlonga, what situation is that? And got good, Mamhlonga. Tamsile girl, I'm gonna just tell you this now. This is not personal. You're too young for what it is that you're trying to do and get involved in here. You're too young, but also is not make sure as to your upbringing, because something as sensitive as a miscarriage, this person is a stranger to you. Just because you happen to be fucking the same man does not mean that you know her at all. So to sit there and to open your mouth and say sorry about some business that you heard Kadipilo talk to her face, out of line. And I'm glad that Mamhlongo got you together very nicely. Very nicely, because how dare you come to me and say that you're sorry about my personal business that I didn't tell you. I don't know you. You're just the skebberesh that is sleeping with the man that I'm sleeping with. Omang, wakokai. Here, Mamhlongo Wawzama, she's trying to make you a person. She's trying to give you some screen time, because you wouldn't be on the screen. Mashozi doesn't even want to see you. Mamhlongo Wawzama ka screen time, because nobody wants to see you and Dulas together talking about nothing. Lili di Popeye, tsa ringa roses, tsa kotakalani sesebe together. Nobody wants to see that. Wawzama ka screen time, and you start off on this foot, girl. I don't see it for you either, Tabsile, but fine, whatever. When you really are chasing fame and notoriety, uporegile, uli 2K, udutseng ko gae, and batho ba o zama, ha o zamege. Mamhlongo told you where it was, and then Mamhlongo's like, Tabsile, at the end of the day, udulas ke Mr. Vurvai, gale rona ar Vurvai. He's been dating other people. He's been loboling me. He loboled Mashozi, with you still there as his girlfriend in the picture. Like, how many more of the flames do you need to see for you to actually see what's going on? Hi, Tabsile says, no, Dulas told me that, he's going to change. Ha! Mamhlongo laughed. I laughed with her, because Dulas auto change for you, baby girl. Okay. She says Dula's gonna change. Mamhlongo told her, okay, if that's what you believe. If you believe, who are we? Whomst are we if you believe. Tamsile in her diary's entry says, no, if Dulaz is going to pull this stance, I'm going to fight fire with fire. Kuyona strategy 2K, which to a certain degree, I might slightly admire it. But from a sustainability perspective and just society as a whole and our health, the fire with fire, guys, is going to end up where? You know what? Mzwakile, guys, okay, the poet of the nation said, an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. And I know it's hard to hear, but I think he was saying something there that was some true wisdom. So sometimes you're here for the fire with fire, especially when people are just whiling like Abudulas in the streets. But I don't know, as a nation, as a race of humanity, how is that actually going to help us to evolve and progress into health and healthy relationships and good family systems? I don't think that's where we're going. But fine, some Ghetto Raj TV on Mzansi, fight fire with fire. And Tabisile says, I will do unto others as others do unto me. Amen. Next up, we have Ukondanisa. Kondanisa and his father and his brother go to see Samantha. Samantha is there with her aunt and the uncle. And this is supposed to be the family meeting where we're getting together to now discuss what must happen between these two people. And obviously, this is another leg in Kondanisa's, apology tour. And so everybody gets into the room. And it is Rakhadi's opinion that it was when everybody was seated, production was set up, Samantha are lights, camera, action in the scene. Because Samantha narabon like some of the emotions and the feelings were real. And I could sense that it was a real raw emotion that was coming through. But the histrionics of it all was not making sense to me. I can be wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing things clearly. But this is Rakhadi's view. Rakhadi Otofa, have you? If you have another view, fine, put it in the comments. Let's see what you have to say. But for me, this was way more dramatic than it ever needed to be. But anyway, everybody sits down. Kondanisa's father starts by saying, you know what? We are here to apologize for Kondanisa's actions. Kondanisa in his diary session, just giving us some more of just the patriarchy, and that the fact that his father is speaking to Samantha's uncle shows him that like this meeting is going to be led. Ngobdoda is the men who are going to be manning and talking about real things, not the women. But okay. So the father says, no, we're here to apologize. Samantha's like, stop right there. Before you even go any further, can I speak? She jumps in, cuts Kondanisa's father, and says that the reason that Kondanisa's actually here to apologize is because, the reason that Kondanisa's here is not to apologize. His intentions are not pure. He met up with me and Mam Kunu and then told us that there's another party. I said, I can't even give her a number because I don't know where she is in the train, in the line. Kondanisa, but anyway, there's another woman that he was then telling us about. For me, we couldn't even agree on an agenda for the meeting. This for me, Samantha, you could have just held back a little bit on this. And it's fine. No, we understand. You are frustrated. As I say with Samantha and her feelings, it's a thin line between love and hate. I think she's straddling that thin line. So she's very frustrated. And I can understand that. But I think why this meeting disintegrated into the chaos that it did is because, number one, there was no agenda. People were trying to set the agenda. The elders were trying to set the agenda in the room, Samantha. Wena wajamba, wakena batukomi lomong before they could even speak and say, this is why we are here. This is the issue we are tabling. And that's why it just went in circles. Secondly, was because we were now conflating so many different issues because of the lack of the agenda. Because now you're bringing in the issue of Ukondanisa has this other person that he wants to introduce. Can we deal with one issue at a time? Anyway, she introduces this. Auntie now obviously is upset. Auntie's like, no, Kondanisa, when he came to first see me, he seemed like, Nike Msedite, and he was taking it very seriously to come and apologize and to try and make things right. But now she's also confused and upset because he didn't mention anything about another person being in the picture. So Auntie, rightly so, is upset, which I think Samantha knew she would be. And that's why Samantha told us and made the statement at the beginning of the meeting before we could get into anything. So now, because there's now Auntie's upset, Samantha's also upset. Things are now exploding. Samantha then says no, she just wants peace. And can these people just tell her how she can free herself from Ukondanisa because she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore? She's done, tired, and through. Then the uncle says, I think the aunt asks her, like, do you not want to be with him anymore? And she says, yes, I want to be free. Uncle says, that is between you and Kondanisa. You two must decide, are you together or are you not together? Nobody was forcing anybody. Uncle, who I like, and just because he's quiet and soft-spoken, then there are other louder people who talk over him. But Uncle, for me, strikes me as a very wise person who thinks things through before they come out of his mouth. And that is the person that you need in these mediation processes. But because he's dealing with these two other family members, Samantha and her aunt, who are very reactionary and who become really emotional and expressive whenever they're experiencing these emotions, that's why we just have the chaos that we had now. So she says she wants to be free from Kondanisa. Kondanisa's brother's like, okay, can you give us the reasons for why, what's happening that you say you don't want him anymore? Then Samantha says that in the beginning, Kondanisa did not want to accept her daughter. Now, Kondanisa is saying that he will accept the daughter. And for her, it's this back and forth that has made her, I don't know, upset. And she says she's not going to allow herself to be played around with like that. She's not going to allow her daughter to be played around with like that. Her daughter's happiness is what comes first. And she won't play this game. I'm confused. Like, now is Samantha. You ain't got to confuse. You ain't got to. Dizzy. Girl, what? Because if the main reason, like the family is here, this is your chance to state why I want a divorce with this person. And the reason that you're giving us is that Ukondanisa didn't want to accept your child in the beginning, and now he says he wants to accept her. Which way has he said that? Because what he's been telling us in his diary sessions on the TV screen is that he's not going to accept this child. Number one. Number two, like there's so many other reasons you could be giving, like valid reasons for the things that he's done. He impregnated your cousin. Why is that not first? Hello? So many things that you could be putting on the list about the ways that you're tired. Then, if we are to look at this holistically, for me, Samantha, it's clear you don't know what you want. Not really. And that's okay. That's okay. Because it's a complex situation. A lot of things are happening. You went to therapy. It's evident there's a lot of things that are happening under the surface in your own life as well. You don't know what you want. And because you don't know what you want, then you're coming to this meeting and confusing everybody else. Because if the hill that you are dying on for why you want to be divorced from Ukondanisa is because he didn't want to accept your child, and now he says he does want to accept your child, I'm confused, because even if that is the case, if that's the case that you're putting forward, nothing has been settled yet with this child in terms of damages that must be paid. I have not even seen you, Samantha and Kondanisa, having a conversation about this child since the last time we saw you guys. I think the last episode in the last season was when you guys were actually getting the DNA results that stated that it wasn't Kondanisa's child. And when you didn't even have a conversation with Kondanisa when the results were given, you were just like, I told you so. And you stood up and you walked out of the clinic and you wouldn't acknowledge him. You gaslighted this man. Guys, it's a fresh day in hell when I am here having to support Kondanisa's perspective, but I have to because you and Diaz gaslit Kondanisa for months, telling him that nothing was going on between the two of you. You then fall pregnant. You then are alluding throughout the whole pregnancy about, is it yours or is it not yours? I'm not really going to tell the truth, but this is a taste of your own medicine. So I'm going to take glee in the revenge that I'm giving you. It's a screenshot Kondanisa. That is what was happening. Then in the end, pop the baby out. We do these DNA tests and you don't have a conversation with him. I have never heard you, Samantha, apologizing out of your mouth for what you did. Kondanisa's shit to the side because there's a lot. Give my dump. Kondanisa. But I've never even heard you having a conversation, taking accountability and responsibility for doing wrong here. Nobody's saying your child is a mistake. But how, girl, they were out of line. You were a married woman at that time. So even if you're saying that the hill you're going to die on is whether Kondanisa is accepting your child or not, when have you taken accountability for your actions in this circus? When? Maybe I didn't see them. Maybe you guys saw them. I didn't see them. And so how can you say you want the divorce because of his acceptance or non-acceptance of your daughter? You haven't even gone to his family. The person you're actually supposed to be talking to is Kondanisa's father who's sitting there, because I doubt Kondanisa actually took out any money to lobola you. It was probably the same story that he did with Mnakwethu. Mnakwethu told us that it was the father who brought the cows. It was the father's cows. Kondanisa didn't have anything. So I'm assuming it was the same thing for you. And there's daddy sitting in front of you. I don't think you've even gone to their family and apologized or even explained the situation. But all of a sudden, you're willing to die on the hill that Kondandisa doesn't want to accept your daughter and your daughter's happiness is the best thing. Good, you're a mother. Your daughter's happiness should be the thing. But you haven't taken accountability that I've seen or responsibility for your part in any of this, particularly around the child that you had with another man while you were married. None of that has been done. Umutu wa moya yorasangoma. Have you done any of the traditional rituals that you're supposed to do and ceremonies? But you're saying that you don't want to be married to him because he once didn't want to accept your daughter. Now he wants to accept your daughter. It's not make sense. That's why Keremo, I think she doesn't know what she wants. So many things are happening, but also it's lights, camera, action. Samantha, for me, out of all of these women, is very clear that this platform is not going to go to waste while a camera is rolling in front of her face. She's going to make the best of it. And listen, girl, hustle if you go hustle. If you're on the platform, your pain, we are seeing, they must pay you for your pain. But this scene and this story, Nesa, it's a sense for me, if that's the reason that you're saying you want to be divorced from Kondanisa, is because of this. I'm taking your daughter, I'm not taking your daughter. No rites and passages have been done. No rituals have been done. No conversations have been held from family to family explaining what happened, and then asking for the apologies, and then making right and resolving. None of that has happened. But okay, fine. We are going to believe what you want us to believe because you believe it. That it's because Kondanisa doesn't want to accept your child. Now he does want to accept your child. And when you don't want to be on the merry-go-round, your acceptance, and you don't want to put your child there. Okay. Kondanisa's father's like, girl, you are already married. Kwasibisi. Nyongo and all. So if you and Kondanisa want to fix things, and Kondanisa wants you to come home the way that he does, please don't get it twisted. You are coming home, but you're not coming home with this child. That's a separate issue. That's not going to happen. The father was like, the child has to stay auntie with your family Until damages are paid, guys, he said it. I heard him saying that. He said you have to pay damages OCBC if you want the child to come. Samantha clearly heard what she wanted to hear in this conversation, because then she jumps up and she says, "What is this? You guys are trying to force Uqondanisa down my throat and it's not going to happen. I don't want Uqondanisa." Samantha, your uncle said you and Uqondanisa must figure out if you guys are going to be together or not, and then come back and tell them. Untate Sibisi just told you that if you want the child to come into the Sibisi household, you need to pay damages. Where is anybody saying that Mau Happily about forced to be Kwasibisi? Maybe for the most part I could say yes, Kondanisa's father and Kondanisa, I think their energy was that you are the woman, you are the wife. But like, for me, I did not interpret that as we are forcing you to make this decision. For me, it was that we are talking about so many issues at the same time with no agenda. And that's why we are at a circus. Because you could hear Samantha's uncle in the background trying to say that, like, these things need to be done. It can be done if you want your child to go back. But if that's what you want, if that's what you and Kondanisa agreed to, that can be done. But no. Cameras are rolling. She's going to give us a show. So she gives us a show. Then Auntie also comes in and she's like, listen, at the end of the day, if Uqondanisa is here to say that he wants his wife back, he better understand it's a package deal. He's taking Samantha and he's taking the child. Otherwise, nothing is going to work. So there mustn't be any talk about this child not being the child wako CBC. You take them both, all or nothing, my brother. Then Samantha jumps up, says she's tired. If they're going to force her to be with Uqondanisa, she's going to show him flames. She's going to show them all. I'm going to show them who I am. Like Auntie's body language, guys, I'm going to see if I can even get a clip from the show. Auntie, ukhathele, ukhathe. Auntie Wabatu, you can see she is just so tired of dealing with all of this. She's so tired. Like, she just put her head in her hands and just, ukhathetsi, elder, ukhathetsi. She's tired. She's tired. Because even just the theatrics of it all, she was just like, what is this? Uncle, that time, he's been shut down. And I'm just like, Samantha, this was a wasted opportunity. This might have been good for TV, but you're going to have to, nothing came out of that meeting. So there's going to have to be, what? Another meeting. For me, at this stage, it's like, could we have another meeting without Usamantha? And we go with Auntie and the uncle. And let's just get a proper agenda together. They three must talk about what must be discussed in the meeting. She can give them the facts one-on-one. And then they can go and the two families can meet. But for me, Samantha, you are just too emotionally charged, I think, to be in a situation where people are trying to talk things out. Because yes, Kondanisa, whiling if he's bringing another woman into it. But that's got nothing to do with what you guys were there to resolve. Nothing. You should have even told your aunt and your uncle about that meeting that Kondanisa had with you and Mam Kunu before his family even got there. But we're doing these things for TV because it's more dramatic for everybody to find out on camera, I suppose. I don't know, I'm assuming. But why did you not have a conversation with your family about that beforehand? Why didn't you guys discuss that when they get here, we want to discuss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Auntie, Malume, let me tell you what happened. Let me give you the background. And let the elders lead the discussions, because they would have known what your interests are. For I just don't know what this helped with, you know. And now that you're threatening people on television, or you're going to show them flames, you are the person who says she wants peace. Yeah, now, if this is how you want peace and this is how you go about getting peace, I'm not sure about this peace that you say that you want, Samantha. I really am not sure. And I want it for you, you know, because for me, that moment when you're in therapy, very poignant. I was there with you. I was crying with you. I could feel your pain. But you're fighting the world all the time for everything. When is the peace going to have a chance to even the seed, yeah, peace to be planted in your heart? And I suppose this is a demonstration for all of us. This is for all of us, guys. This is the mirror. Those of us who say "Arasabatla chaos in our lives," like you're putting your resolutions there. We are putting our prayers. Those will be praying at midnight. Or I want peace in my life. I don't want problems. I don't want chaos. You don't want those things. But how are you contributing yourself through your own actions to perpetuating the chaos and not bringing the peace into your life? Because you've got to be peaceful within yourself first. You've got to have let go of the things that you can't change and that you can't control. Just let that go. Because if you're still fighting to be right and for the other person to be wrong, that's not the environment in which peace grows, guys. Just think, peace is a seed. If this seed needs to grow, what type of soil do I need to put that seed in so that it can grow? What nutrients have to be in the soul of my heart, of my body, of my life? My soil must be fertile. How do I fertilize the inner soil that is me for this seed of peace to grow and to flourish? You can't be fertilizing your soil with more chaos, with more "I'm right, he's wrong," with more "I'm going to make him look like the bad person that he is," with more "ke tla tshela petrol on top of the fire and I'll burn this motherfucker down." Peace. Will it grow from that, guys? And it's a lesson for all of us. Samantha, I know it's out here like it sounds like I'm judging you, but we're using you as an example in our lives. Everybody, you want peace. How are you contributing to cultivating the environment within which peace can actually grow? And I will leave my coaching sermon there. Let's get to the next scene. So Umamhlongo goes to Naturena. She's going to Situlas. She was wearing some formal get-up dress. I don't know Hornaya guy, Lemang, or Natswako guy. A whole formal dress. Got the high heels and like a little coat, a little faux mink coat. I was like, girl, what's going on? Or was she doing this just for being on TV? I don't know, but it was very strange. Anyway, she walks into the house, go to Naturena. She tells us because it's her man's house, she doesn't have to call. She can just come whenever she wants to come. And you could see from Dulas and Mashozi's face, or like nobody was expecting you. And that for me, Mahlongo, is where I also have to call you to order, because your sister was talking to you about these things even last episode. It's a fresh day in hell, guys, where I'm busy having to take up for Umashozi. But for all intents and purposes, as we know, as the audience, that is the house that Dulas lives with Mashozi in. You cannot just be coming unannounced, twirling through. I know we're filming a TV show, but like, you can't just do that. You don't live there. And this is another reason as to, Dulas, where's Mamhlongo's house? Where is it? Because also, I get about that tip. This is what you wanted. People need to have their own homes and then be respecting each other's homes and have protocols. Because Mamhlongo, you also wouldn't like it if Umashozi just came at your house with cameras. You wouldn't have liked that. I didn't like that at all. And I said you must note it. Okay, so Mamhlongo sits down. She's been playing detective. She's out here doing Sherlock Holmes investigations. Tells them she spoke to Tabsile. And Tabsile says that the story that Dulas is telling, that he's broken up with her, is manga business. And they are still very much together. Forever Tina, all the way. Mashozi loses it. She's upset. And she's like, Dulas, I don't want anything to do with Tabsile. I'm not here for that girl. I'm not about that life. And Mashozi even says it's clear, Mamhlongo saying she doesn't care is also lies, because she wouldn't be out here. It's at the research, it's at the investigations, being a deep throat out here in the streets if she really didn't care. And I can agree with that. Like, yeah, that's how I was like, Mamhlongo maybe doesn't have the energy emotionally and the capacity to really, really be entertaining Dulas and his nonsense. But yes, to a certain degree, there's still a bit of care there, you know what I'm saying? But she's dealing with real life problems. Of course, Dulas denies that he hasn't broken up with Tabsile. He says he did, in fact, break up with Tabsile. These are all lies. Mamslong was like, you know what? Let's make this easy. Call this girl up. We all here. Dulas then says no, he's not going to call her because why should he call her? Mamslong was like, I'll even call her. I've got her numbers. Let me call her on my phone. Dulas said, no, don't call her on your phone. Obviously, Dulas is avoiding the truth and doesn't want anybody to be called. They're like, why don't you want to call Dulas? Like, no, I'm not going to be dictated to by you women because he's very clear. Then Mamslongo was like, okay, if you don't want to be dictated, either you call her or we have a family meeting. Of course, he doesn't want the family meeting because if all three of these women are in one room, like they were when he brought Tabsile Kwale Kunechurena, if the three witches, as Dulas calls them, the witches are conspiring, witches conference, three, Bansadi calendar, little timeline, little messages, little screenshots, he knows it's overs for him, overs could overs. So, of course not. Dulas is not on board with you guys all getting together because he's not going to be told by women what to do. That's the reasoning. But then, what happens after that? Oh, okay. So then, Mashozi sulks because they're obviously not getting anywhere with this discussion with Dulas. She leaves and she goes into the kitchen. Mam Hlongo's like, you know what? It's this back and forth and these lies and stories and fairy tales that she's not here for. Talks again about moving on with another person. And Dulas has to be quick to remind her, once again, baby girl, I'm the one who's got the key to your lock. There's no way you're going. Then Mam Hlongo's like, how do you know? How can you be so sure? Mam Hlongo, please, please, and just end this whole cycle. About exactly what Dulas and his force, Ngemit, allegedly have done to you. Because Otepiling is what you should be asking yourself. Why is he so confident? He says it over and over again, unapologetically, that there's no way that you're going. What does he know that you don't know? Go and free yourself, girl. I wanna be free from these chains that I find in me. So next we see Mnakwethu at the park with Usandiso and their son. It's a family day out. And as a side note, guys, I'm also just really happy to see that there are still parks in the hood, in the township, that still have me swingy lady slides for the kids. It's important, guys. Let's please, let's maintain our parks also as the citizenry who live there and use the parks. PSA, can we also just stop littering in the parks, guys? Do you see how much fun those kids are having in the background? Guys, please. The government will just do as much as to build them, but they need to be maintained by us. So please, wherever you are, maintain your parks, love your parks, do it for the kids. Thanks. So they are having a day, go packing. Mnakwethu is then saying that no, she thinks this might be a good time to, introduce the child to Upindi and maybe seeing, the child, Mamkulu will, I don't know. What? The child will soften her heart maybe and she'll be more open to accepting Isimo if she sees the child. Sandiso says yes, he agrees. Rakgadi abasheba bali too. What are you guys talking about? Pindi, I came for her hard last episode, last review. But here, I stand with Upindi because Lemetang, what is going on? Why are you guys shoving this child down her throat so hard? So hard. For what? Like, guys, Pindi has had to deal with a lot of things coming at her all at the same time. And then Lebato Kenya, this child. Why does she have to meet this child? What producer put this battery in y'all's back so badly that she needs to meet this child? She just found out 2 episodes ago that you paid damages. And then, when her reaction is not satisfactory, when she is hurt and it's coming out as anger and passive aggression, then you guys are going to be saying she's got an attitude. Damn sure she's got an attitude. If I was impeded, damn sure I've got an attitude. Because whiling happy later with this child. Yes, guys, ngwana ana molato. At all, at all. This child has no fault and no guilt and no blame. But can I meet the child in my own time? I'm still trying to process that there's this mamncane. I'm still trying to deal with uhlazo episode after episode of cameras being in my face. I'm still trying to deal with the fact that, like, I just found out that you paid damages for this person behind my back on top of everything else. And now you want me to meet this? This is stupidity. Between Mnakwethu and Sandy's, it's stupidity. As far as the timelines go, this is stupidity. I don't know who advised you to do this. And I don't know why you thought it was going to get you the result of Umamkulu opening up her heart to the child. What? Anyway, Sandiso reprimands Mnakwethu and says, Mamkulu told him that, Mnakwethu was being very disrespectful when they had the one-on-one and she had an attitude problem. Mnakwethu sits there looking contrite and she says, that wasn't her intention to go there and have an attitude and cause any problems. And I will continue to say, Mnakwethu is a better woman than me because personally, I don't see any attitude that she brought to that conversation. And so on top of that, Sandy, so you want to come and reprimand me like a child and tell me that I shouldn't have done what I did. Did you ever ask Mnakwethu what her side of the story was before you coming and telling me that you're disappointed? And how could I do those things? What? You weren't even there for that conversation. At the very least, can you get both sides of the story before you make determinations and throw down a judgment as the judge and jury of this relationship? But anyway, Mnakwethu, as I said, and she's groomed and ready for Stembu. Maybe some of us are not groomed and ready for Stembu because I know that I know more. I'm not going to hear it. What attitude? Where? When was I? Tell me. Rewind the video and show me where I had attitude. And listen, maybe things were edited out of that conversation. But I didn't interpret her as having attitude. But I think Upindi came with a lot of attitude. I don't think it would have mattered how Mnakwethu acted or what she said. Pindi wants to have a problem with her because she's still very much in her feelings. She's hurt, she's betrayed, it's a lot. But as I said, Pindi, can you please direct all of that to Usandiso, the instigator of everything? Thank you. Mnakwethu there she was, she was feeling all the love and seeing Sandiso running around, being ubaba with the child. It was sweet. It was nice to see. At the end of the day, you can see that, like, okay, Sandiso, Mr. Liar, is just about lies and a lot of other things. But like shame, you could see like he loves his child. And it was really nice to also just see, a black man out there sliding on a slide and also just having fun and experiencing some joy for himself. We can hold all of the parts of Usandiso just to get through this show. We can hold all of them. So it was very nice to just see him spending time with the son. And Shem, actually, he did, he looked like, I know Shem, he's very much in love with his child. And we are happy for him. High five. Next scene, Udulas and Umamhlongo go to therapy. So they couldn't find the prophet. So they're going to therapy. I've seen this therapist before. Can't remember the name of the show. But it was something else, Kumzanzi. I think they've got the service providers. They've got the roster of their service providers. So I've seen this guy before. He did seem like he's actually a pretty good therapist. In something else that I watched before. So anyway, he sits down with the two of them. Dulas opens the discussion talking about, the miscarriage and how it affected him, and how upset he was about it. Mamhlongo, then she also starts crying and she's talking about, it's difficult, but she has to accept the situation. Then the therapist asks, there's usually stress that's related to people having miscarriages. What was happening at that time? Mamhlongo then tells him that, she's lost two of her brothers. And then on top of that, it's just, the new release, Sabotulasi, every other week. That's also just stressing her out, and that he doesn't even take into consideration how I feel, what's happening in my life, just untlaselaka these girls left and right. Then Dulas's explanation and justification was that, well, when he introduced whatever woman it was, I don't know who he's referring to, but he was like, when I introduced the woman at the time to Umamhlongo, it's when she was also being very childish. So I don't know if that's like his justification that like because she was being childish, I was done with her and so I brought this other person to replace her, or if she was already acting childish and they were in their back and forth, their toxicity, and then this person was also here on the side. So then Yatala Petrolo on top of the situation. I'm not sure what he meant by that. If somebody else is sure about what he meant by that, let me know in the comments because I wasn't sure. But that's his justification that she was being childish. And it's very evident, I think, from that therapy session. What we know is that I think Mamhlongo is numb and disconnected from a lot in her life, but very much disconnected emotionally from Udulas because he even tried to hold her hand. And the cameras were sure to show us that he tried to hold her hand and she was like, nope. And she pulled her arms towards herself and didn't want to be touched by him at all. So Dulas has a very long road to hoe, I think, in terms of connecting back with Umam Hlongo and having a connection and a relationship with her. There's a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, and the therapist even acknowledged that, like, he could see that, like, Mam Hlongo's got a lot of anger, and she does have a lot of anger. But behind all of that anger, obviously, there's just pain and heartbreak. And Dula says he's been trying to change her, and like sometimes at the beginning of the relationship, you think that you can change someone, but he's realizing no, that like you can't change. So Mam Hlongo's like, listen, I think he's talking about the drinking. And at the end of the day, in her diary session, she's like, this person, he found me kominating. I was drunk, poop drunk when he met me the first time. So Anshela, poop drunk, that's how you find me. I've been drinking since you've known me. So she's like, why is it now a problem that I drink? Secondly, I'm not the only person who drinks. Mashozi is also drinking. So I don't know why you're coming for me so hard on the drinking. I don't know to what extent and level Mamhlongo drinks. We haven't really seen it. I think the last season of Mnakwethu, she was drinking quite a lot. And going through a lot. Guys, I mean, Kawash, they did fly kick with her and Dulas and the whole family. So she was going through a lot. So she was drinking very heavily last season. That's what I saw. I don't know to what extent when the cameras are not rolling and we can't see how heavy her drinking really is. But she's like, you found me drinking. You can't be calling me out on the drinking. The therapist is like, listen, maybe, as a man, he wants what's best for you, and there's a certain vision that he has for his family and his life, and, for him, maybe, the drinking doesn't fit into that. But that would obviously involve Dulas having a discussion about what his vision for himself is as a man, what his vision for his family is as a man, and what are the action steps he's going to take to fulfill that vision, which we haven't even gotten to. I don't think if Dulas even knows what that is. But once again, this conversation also highlighting the unspoken expectations we have of each other in relationships. This is how it comes out now, guys, because maybe in his mind, a wife is not supposed to be drinking. When did you ever have that conversation? When did you ever even tell me that this is something you might believe in? Things like these, things of this nature. And perhaps also with the stuff that Mamhlong was going through, she might be self-medicating as well, We don't know. There's a lot going on there. That's why I'm happy that the therapist was like, let both of you come back individually for individual sessions. And then we are going to actually trace back how you grew up, where you come from, so that we can better understand how you are making the decisions and what is informing your behavior at this present moment in your life. I was very happy that Dula seemed very open and receptive to therapy. So, geez, Dula's, it's not often called Shapela Matsoho, but please, my brother, can you please continue to go to therapy and just be a demonstration for the bingas out there who don't believe in therapy and don't even know what it's about? Can we put more of this on TV? Because, guys, our social communities, our familial structures are not what they used to be. We don't have the support that we used to have relationally, emotionally. And so some of that has to be outsourced to professionals like therapists and coaches. Can we see more of this on television? And yes, I say because I'm a coach too. Guys, let's pump up this profession. Okay? But really to be there to structurally hold up people and families and societies. It's very important. And it's still very taboo. Very taboo. I think in very many different societies, not just black societies. So, Dula is my brother. Demonstration to the nation. I plead, I beg, I ask, please. The one other comment I also want to address from the therapy session, was where Mam Hlongo was also saying, she's been through a lot. And, for her, part of the stress is, Dulas and the girls. But also out of all of Dulas's wives, none of them have suffered more than me. Quote unquote. Kamosheba. Got a question mark, girl. No one suffered more than you. Can we please? I will never forget Madlamin. I will never forget Madlamin. If we could ask her about her suffering, Mam Hlongo, please, there you are rewriting history. I am not denying that you suffered at the hands of this toxic relationship. Ya how little lies. Lili tu le fagazile moleka petrol le fire. Suffering. Were you or were you not, Mam Hlongo, the person who physically assaulted Madlamini on national TV? And I think more than once. Were you or were you not the new Mamncane who was coming? Hlazad her on TV. Please, I know you're going through a lot, Mam Hlongo, but to say you are the wife who has suffered the most, girl, I think you still need some perspective and some accountability and responsibility for your own actions. Because for me, it's clear that you still see yourself very much as a victim in this entire system. And yes, you have been victimized, but you have also victimized others. And I think we need to see both sides of that story. But to say you suffered the most, Madlamin, let's never forget Madlamini, please. No. May she rest in peace where she is. Then we see the last scene. Oh God, it's not the last scene. Okay. So Mam Hlongo goes to visit Samantha. And it's clear that, they've got a little friendship going on. They say they chat on the phone, but nothing deep and heavy. But you can see they're really happy to see each other, and just bond as Mamncane is going through the most with these Maskandi men. So Mam Hlongo tells Samantha that, she had a miscarriage, and Samantha, props to her, was very supportive. She gave her a hug. Mam Hlongo says that apparently Samantha's also been through this before. So I think Samantha really was just offering comfort and, just a friendly ear. And for me, I actually really enjoyed seeing the two of them together. And I would really like to see them supporting each other and just talking to each other, just as women, not even, women of Istembu, Samatutao, Yamkokotelo. No, but just, as women going through life, and it seems like they have an understanding and they have good chemistry. So it was really nice to see that even Mam Hlongo was like, I think I needed the hug. And I was like, yes, girl, you do, because I think that softness that she's looking for, she's not going to get that from Utulas. Mashozi has her own interests. Mashozi is not here to be your support system. Mashozi is here to continue to be number one. And then Mam Hlongo says no, she was cleansed by her family, because Samantha asks, has Dulas done the things? And she's like, no, my family did it. And then Samantha suggests, she's like, girl, I think you need to go see somebody about your life. Go and get a consultation. Let's figure out what's going on with you. And she's like, I would recommend, we go to my Baba, who's, I think, the person who trained her. Because let's do it with a third party, because if anybody finds out that you came and consulted with me and the things that I bring up might not be believed, because they might think, Lynn, I've got my own motivations and it's not going to be as objective, and then Mam Hlongo was like, no, but who would I tell? How would Dulas find out? And Samantha was like, wena hauna spiri, zero spiri, girl. Hey, Samantha says, I know you and your mouth. No. So best we go and see someone. And I'm happy. I hope Samantha takes her to a prophet that, Mam Hlongo will be happy about, and she'll get more clarity on her life. The last scene. Oh, finally, the last scene. I always say these reviews are not going to be so long, but then I always get like hot and bothered when I'm in the middle of it and I'm talking, and it's just always long, guys, because get detail. And it's all about the detail for me. I'm sorry. Anyway, Sandy, so there he is at the restaurant. He goes with Upindi, proceeds to ambush her into meeting his son, because around the corner there appears Mnakwethu with the son. And Pindi's like, it's clear that you don't respect me. Wantella to be bringing me here. You don't tell me that I'm here to meet your son before we even get here. Or don't cover with that information. Got the lights, got the camera, got the action. And I'm with Pindi here. I'm with me. This episode, Pindi was disrespected, girl. Yo, to the utmost, with some very poor thinking and poor ideas. But let's not forget, people are out here making a television show. Unfortunately, Pindi. That's why she'll put you on game. Get paid for your pain. Don't be crying here, Kadidugu, looking rough on TV for nothing. Get your coins, my lovey. Get them. Because he's going to disrespect you on TV. If there's a reunion, further disrespecting is coming. When I figure out how you can monetize this, if you're willing to still put your life out here. But no, the disrespect is going to continue. Listen, Dizo, Mr. Manga, girl. Anyway, there, Pindi doesn't want to do any of it. Mnakwethu sits down. Like, here's the child. She's like, so what must I do with this child? What exactly do you want me to do? Sandy was like, no, just Moshe, fella, look at her. And then what? What must I do when I've seen the child? Sandy can see clearly that, like, he's not getting anywhere with Pindi here. Tells Mnakwethu, okay, please take the child away. Gets ready for a grown-up conversation. Sandy finally, from somewhere, we don't know where, but we thank God, sits down and tells them that, okay, fine, guys, I will answer all of your questions that you have, truthfully and honest. This is your moment. Out of all of the years you've been knowing me, this is the moment I'm going to give you. I'm going to sit in front of you and actually tell the truth. So ask your questions. Pindile then asked him, when did you guys start dating? I think he said 2021. When did you pay damages? 2023. Pindi just takes that information, says, okay, that's fine. She doesn't have any questions. Mnakwethu, she doesn't have any questions, but she apologizes to Pindi for the disrespect. She says she didn't mean to disrespect her. She still sort of wants them to have a good relationship, which was fine, but for me, very much a missed opportunity, I think, for these questions to be asking Usandiso, because this was where Mnakwethu, when you were there, you saw some woman calling on his phone. You told us in the reunion, Yam Mnakwethu, and he denied it. This is where you should have been asking those questions. But fine, maybe because, that wasn't on the agenda. The agenda was, kumbaya, and let's find a way to be together. So that was it. And then we see Usandiso just stand up and go around the corner. And that is where I'm ready for the next episode, because Mr. Manga, when you have just kumbayad, where Pindi and Mnakwethu could even laugh together and kickle and cackle and talk about Indota Yako did 1, 2, 3, where we are building a relationship on the dysfunction of Indota Yabo. Finally, we've got some consensus. Mr. Manga goes and brings Ucebi to join in this conversation. And that's what we're going to see in the next episode. Boo! Fireworks. Fire. I think it 31 that it's actually going to be play. Yo, guys. Hey. Abafana. And that's the end of the review, guys. I am so glad if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching it all. Thank you for your continued support of my channel, which just recently started. 2025, I'm going to see. I think there are going to be some changes, because these reality TV shows are just sometimes not showing us imagery and themes that I think is always to our benefit and our growth and our health as a society. So we're going to see. There's something inside of me that's just like, I need more from a reality show. I want more meat. I want more depth. Yes, it's great as an escape, but I can't be traumatized. You know what I mean? Like every Wednesday night when I'm watching stuff, that's not it. I'm trying to run away from my own trauma. Then kikena modi shoge when I traumatize. Yeah, Guningi, it's a lot. So I haven't really figured out what we're going to be doing next year with this channel, but I think I do want to continue with it, and I want to thank each and every one of you who has clicked, who has supported, who has given me feedback, who has liked, who has left a comment underneath. I really, really appreciate you guys and the support and the love. And please have a great, great celebration for the new year and continue to spread love, not hate. Ciao from Rakadi.